I'm guessing that you probably know or love someone that is an addict, whether or not that be an alcoholic or a person that uses drugs. And you know from the outside in that addiction takes control of that person, and they will manipulate and lie to you, steal, just to get the things that they need to feel better, to numb themselves to the world. Well, that's something I want to talk about because as an addict, I'm an alcoholic, listening to the stories of the people that I love most and, how I affected them while I was drinking too much, it's really hard. And, I just have to talk about manipulation because an addict will do anything and everything to get the things that they need. So when I get home, I think we're going to talk about gaslighting and how addicts use that to manipulate and get the drugs and stuff that they need, and why you should approach it in certain ways, and how maybe you can effectively approach an addict without being, ugly or say things that you don't mean, that kind of stuff. Let me get home, we'll go into more detail. Okay, so we all know that addiction takes control, and it removes all of your inhibitions. For loved ones and friends of people that are in addiction, it can be an emotional roller coaster interacting with somebody who's stuck in, say, an addiction with drugs and or alcohol. So let's talk about the definition of gaslighting. Gaslighting usually is manipulating someone psychologically as to them having to question their sanity. Addicts tend to use this manipulation as a form of deflection, maybe sort of like a protection against anyone and everyone from knowing the bad things that they've done. And usually gaslighting comes in 4 different ways. First one being straight up lying. We all know that this is probably the least harmful of the 4 different types of gaslighting, being that this person is just saying things to hide whatever it is that they're doing in the background. Second one is reality manipulation. Now this is where it starts to cross a couple of boundaries. Somebody's trying to make you believe that you're making a big deal out of something that really doesn't, is really not that big of a deal, right? That would be like me hiding a flask as an alcoholic, and then a loved one finding it and me being like, not that, I don't have 20, 30 beer in my closet. It's just there when I need it. The third type is scapegoating. So this is where you might have an addict who places the blame on someone else. They play the victim card. So they're saying, I do all this because of you. You're the reason that I do the things that I do. The fourth type of gaslighting is coercion. And this is where an addict will use force or threats to get what they need. So at this point, if you've experienced any of this or gotten to this point, you have got to talk to somebody. Just so you know, you are not crazy, okay? Addicts manipulate. That's something we do. I am an alcoholic, and I used every means in the book to either hide the alcohol that I was drinking or find a way to get some cash to go grab that 5th of Jack. You are not crazy, and if somebody is making you feel that way, or if you've seen any of the last 4 types of gaslighting we're talking about, you have got to talk to somebody, okay? That either means you need to get with a specialist, or maybe even yourself seek some therapy to help you deal with that person that is causing the trouble in your life. Just remember that silence never solves anything. And what do we do now with that person who is gaslighting you? Well, the honest truth is that you cannot argue with an addict. This person is controlled by a substance. So that means that their ideas and the things going on up in here are not normal. Everything that person thinks is abnormal compared to the decisions that you might be making. If you're a loved one of an addict, the truth is that they're going to use your emotions against you. The last thing that you want to do with an addict is raise your voice, say something you don't mean, become violent, because later on they're going to use that against you, put it above your head in order to get the things that they want. If a situation becomes verbally or physically violent, the next step for you is to separate yourself from the situation. The best 2 things you can do with somebody who is gaslighting you is 1, keep your emotions in check. And the second thing, just step away. Put some distance between that person and you so that you don't escalate the situation. One of the worst things you can do is get to a point where you've decided to give them money, or give that person the freedom that they need to get the drugs and alcohol that they desire. So you do not want to be the enabler. In fact, what you truly want to do is when you keep those emotions in check and you've stepped away, you've got to understand that this person is sick. And that, eventually this person made the personal choice to do the drugs and alcohol that they're doing. Once they've started in that addiction, their personal choice sort of goes away, but they will have to fall underneath that addiction eventually and come to a low point where they have to make that personal decision again, but this time to get help. It's a painful truth that most people find the help that they need after they reach a low bottom or through the law. That's kind of the way it goes in addiction. So what you have to do is step away, be strong, and lead not by attitude but by example. Your life needs to be the example for someone else who needs it. Anyway, that's all I've got in today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.